If you are not yet a member of the Patreon, link is in the description. Please consider becoming a member, as you will have access to many videos you cannot find here on YouTube.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
So about a week ago, I put out a post stating that anytime a person, regardless of their profession, is inorganically forced upon you over and over and over, and not just Erica Kirk, should be seen as a red flag, and your antennas should go up about that person. If you know, you know. And I stand by that, and that applies to so many people. One of those people that easily fits into this category is a content creator or an influencer by the name of Clavicular, who not only may be on his way to prison here shortly, but they are now alleging that this guy is connected not only to Peter Thiel, but also Jeffrey Epstein. But before we get into Clavicular's story, I just want to state, just for the record, that it is such an amazing feeling to be living in a time now where conspiracy theories and conspiracy theorists are being proven to be true and truth tellers. And today's video is just another one of those, that being billionaires and the quote-unquote powers that be fund not only and create industry plants, not only in the music industry or in Hollywood, but they are now entered the content creator space because that's the new wave. Hit the like button on your way in. I would really appreciate it. Now let's get into this. So for those of you that don't know, Clavicular, whose real name, by the way, is Braden Peters, was born in 2005 in New Jersey and attended a college by the name of Sacred Heart University, but reportedly got expelled after steroids and testosterone was found in his dorm. Following this, he would first build a following on TikTok before becoming known as this controversial American kick streamer, an internet personality who blew up online in late 2025 and early 2026 through something called quote-unquote looks maxing content, IRL live streams, shot content, and viral clips. He's mainly known for extreme appearance enhancement discussions, chaotic live streams, and non-stop internet controversy. And a few examples would include allegedly hitting a person with a Tesla Cybertruck during a live stream, being arrested in Arizona over fake ID drug allegations, being arrested in Florida after authorities said he instigated a fight between women for content, and even a suspected overdose during a live stream in Miami, which was a lot more recent. That's right. According to this particular live stream, this guy almost passed away and lost his life after doing drugs on camera. And for those of you that don't know, much like myself, looks maxing is an internet subculture focused on maximizing physical attractiveness through grooming, fitness, surgery, hormones, and even more extreme methods, believe it or not. For example, Clavicular is probably most popularly known as the one responsible for pushing dangerous ideas like bone smashing. Yes, this crazy concept known as bone smashing, which is in the name itself, which is an internet trend where people repeatedly hit certain bones in the face or body, usually the jawline, cheekbones, chin, or brow area, believing it will reshape the bone and make them look more attractive. They also heavily promote steroid use, appetite suppressants, and cosmetic experimentation. Why people will be doing this is mind-blowing, blows my mind. But once again, once you see who is allegedly funding and backing this guy, it's going to make a little bit more sense. And one of the sickest examples that I've seen personally would have to be the live stream where he can be seen doing what appears to be injecting himself in his private area with a huge needle-looking gun to sterilize himself.
One of you ladies come here for a second to help me with something?
He's gonna shoot his out.
Yeah, can you just inject something in my dick for me?
There you go. We got a contestant number one.
Yeah, she's with the She's 25. She don't give
Inject that down it.
So,
You didn't even show her how to do it.
why are you looking at? Don't look at my pants.
You press, look.
Why are you looking at my
like this.
pants?
You press like this, and then you press this button down.
But the bigger question for me would have to be, is it truly these rage-baiting moments, these controversial videos that he's generated that truly explains the virality, the popularity of Clavicular in such a short time span? But if you were to ask him, though, he would tell you that part of the reason he's so popular is because he invested heavily into a clipping social media strategy where he spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on short form clip distribution to boost virality across TikTok, X, and repost pages.
Said here's a good video about the clip farming economy. Basically, Clavicular and Kick is spending upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to third worlders to spam clips of himself. It's destroying social media. Says the Antichrist is up to no good. In other news, fork found in the kitchen, right? He's an antichrist, they're saying. It says this guy funds loads of cancers. If there's some prominent figure pushing anti-intellectual or anti-science rhetoric or pushing distrust in experts, they're nearly always funded by Peter Thiel. Very similar to what Epstein did as well. These ghouls try and control everything in small ways that add up to make the world a little more stupid and a little easier to manipulate for their gain. May Thiel? No, we're not going to do that.
And while that could be partially true, is that the full story, or is that only half the truth? You see, because now there are new accusations coming from people claiming that Clavicular is not only tied to Peter Thiel of Palantir, but also to Jeffrey Epstein. According to a new Channel 5 segment by Andrew Callahan, billionaire tech investor Peter Thiel is allegedly funding Kick personality Clavicular. It says here, Channel 5 alleges Peter Thiel is bankrolling Kick streamer Clavicular. A new Channel 5 segment by Andrew Callahan has made a wild claim. The report frames Clavicular's rapid rise online as something more than luck or grind. According to the segment, the streamer sits inside a wider ecosystem of looks maxing, manosphere content, peptide-fueled biohacking, and transhumanist ideas aimed squarely at young men. Callahan's piece reportedly includes a line about Clavicular injecting peptides into his nuts, setting the tone for a segment focused on extreme body optimization. The broader argument is that wealthy tech figures may be quietly boosting creators whose content pushes useful ideological messaging to disaffected young audiences.
Here's Peter Thiel, the architect of our modern surveillance state. According to several of our whistleblower sources, Thiel is also personally invested in signal boosting friend of the show, Braden Clavicular Peters. This support and Clav's rapid viral rise makes total sense. Thiel has made a number of strange statements about the future of humanity.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know. I would,
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions.
He seems to have a vested interest in creating a post-humanist, technologically transformed future wherein real people like you and I cease to exist in our flesh form, instead living on as immortal creatures up in the cloud.
Yeah, transhumanism is this, the ideal was this radical transformation where your human natural body gets transformed into an immortal body.
This is not just like a Black Mirror style conspiracy fantasy. There is a race to create this kind of technology right now. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is now involved with a startup called Nectome, who plan to preserve and then upload his brain after death as a base model for what's called cyber immortality. And Google co-founder Larry Page recently declared that digital life is the natural and desirable step in cosmic evolution. So in this context, it makes sense that someone like Clavicular, who has already sterilized himself by injecting peptides into his nuts, and ask questions like, what's the ROI on love, when asked about going on a date with a potential romantic partner, would be algorithmically pushed to impressionable, pubescent American boys.
And if you still don't fully understand who Peter Thiel is and what he represents, because we've heard of Palantir, I've spoken about Palantir many times on this channel, but if you're still like me and you don't fully understand who Peter Thiel is, I'm going to include an excerpt here that, in my opinion, thoroughly explains who Peter Thiel is, his company, and why you should be sort of invested into this story.
So, who is Palantir? Palantir is a publicly traded corporation that specializes in big data integration on the software level. But what does that mean? In layman terminology, Palantir focuses on the orchestration, organization, and implementation of data. A ton of the information behind the scenes that products and services need, with a focus on automating the decision-making processes with that existing data infrastructure. But how and where do they do this? They do this for corporate clientele such as JP Morgan, Wendy's, to public entities such as Britain's NHS, Norwegian Customs, Danish POL, Intel, Predictive Policing, all the way to ICE and the CIA in the United States. Product lines such as Palantir Gotham allow police departments to predict potential crime with data of citizens in a given community.
Yo, looking to add a real head-turner to your collection? Look no further. You absolutely do not want to miss this.
They can even run probability for whether someone might have a mental health crisis. For militaries such as the IDF, Gotham can expand drone capability to be completely autonomous, controlled, operated, and executed by a machine learning algorithm. Palantir Foundry can automate logistics and make predictive outcomes in healthcare and supply chains, such as Britain's NHS. As we speak, Palantir is experiencing an unprecedented rise in market cap, growing by 23 times since 2023. They were founded by Peter Thiel, a billionaire venture capitalist and mega donor of the Republican Party, who broke campaign finance records by donating a whopping $15 million to J.D. Vance's 2022 Senate campaign. Thiel is also famous for pushing for fully private-owned cities, city-states entirely owned by corporations.
So Palantir have posted a pretty bizarre manifesto, which has been described as the ramblings of a supervillain. People who don't know what Palantir is, it's a US spy tech giant co-founded by the billionaire and J.D. Vance mentor, Peter Thiel. It's been called the world's scariest and most important company, and its tech has been used by everyone from ICE to the Israel Defense Forces. This weekend, its official account posted like a 22-point manifesto on X. Start of the post said, because we keep getting asked, but no one really knows who's asking. The key points included implying that some cultures are inferior to others. Some cultures have produced vital advances. Others remain dysfunctional and regressive. Heaping praise on the US for its role in global peace and progressive values, while saying that America should reinstate the military draft, and saying that free and democratic societies need hard power over soft power and moral appeal. Also said that Silicon Valley had an obligation to help out in things like national defense and violent crimes, and the future is AI war, because if we don't build the killer robots, our enemies will build them. The weirder points included saying multiple times we need to be nicer to public figures and billionaires. So this means not snickering at Elon Musk for not just staying in his lane and making boatloads of money. As Taylor Swift said, it's a good thing I like my friends canceled. But all of this is a worrying statement from an incredibly powerful company, one which demonstrates just how deeply embedded Palantir is in the Trump big tech axis, as someone from the tech nonprofit Foxglove told me. The list appears to be taken from the recent book of Palantir CEO, the controversial billionaire Alex Karp. That book laments a widespread complacency among engineers and founders who build photo-sharing apps, as opposed to collaborating with governments to secure the West's dominant place in the geopolitical order. Side note, this is the guy who drew criticism recently for saying that AI would disrupt the power of childless cat ladies, highly educated, often female voters who vote mostly Democrat, and for last year suggesting that Palantir wants, when it's necessary, to scare enemies and, on occasion, kill them. You might see all this as the self-indulgent rambling of a powerful tech company, but it speaks to a larger movement that's happening right now, where a loose coalition of thinkers and executives in Silicon Valley are more and more interested in a vision of tech power merged with state power. And what all of this indicates is that Karp views himself as not simply the head of a software company, but a pundit with important insights into the future of civilization, one in which the West deserves to be globally dominant and should use the technological might of Palantir to achieve this.
And to make matters even worse, Clavicular just got hit with lawsuits and charges for shooting a dead alligator and an incident of him injecting a girl with a dissolving substance that is not FDA approved during a live stream after she claimed the shot caused physical injury, including a perforated cheek.
He's the face of the so-called looks-maxing community. A movement of young men who take extreme measures to improve their appearance.
Yo! Say what's up to the stream!
But now, Braden Eric Peters, who goes by the name Clavicular, faces criminal charges for firing a gun at an alligator while live streaming.
Are we surprised, right? Like, are we surprised by this being most likely true, right? Because I will say, in all honesty, this is not 100% smoking gun evidence that 100% proves it. No, but the fact that we have good reason to believe this and he has ties to these people, I think speaks volumes in itself. Something I've been saying for the longest is a lot of people see these content creators and they think it's just hard work. It's about doing the most rage baiting, the most controversial things. But the truth is, there's a lot of people that do rage baiting. There's a lot of people that do controversial things. And in my opinion, I believe there's a ceiling for a lot of those people, unless people can be used as quote unquote useful idiots. Maybe they don't know that certain people are backing them. Maybe they don't know that the message that they're pushing is being used for a larger agenda. Clavicular is not the only one. As I showed you earlier, you can see him. He was involved months ago in that incident with Sneeko, Nick Fuentes, Andrew Tate and his brother, Myron Gaines. Let's just put it this way. Clavicular is not the only quote-unquote industry plant allegedly in this photo. As I've covered Andrew Tate before, I've covered Nick Fuentes before, extensively actually, both of those characters. I do not believe the algorithm will support you. I do not believe that you will get constant boost from the algorithm unless you're knowingly an industry plant or they're setting you up to become one, or they're going to eventually go against you. And one of those two things I believe applies to Clavicular, and we'll see what happens with the whole jail thing with the charges that are being pressed against him, because sometimes they use that to boost virality. Like it could potentially be happening with the rapper or the singer David, who was just arrested for the murder of that young lady Celeste. So we'll see, man. I'll keep my eye on this. Y'all up in the comment section and give me your thoughts on what you think. What do you think about Palantir? What do you think about Peter Thiel? What do you think about Clavicular's alleged connection to these people? Give me your thoughts, man. I'm Demetrius. I go by Didi. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.